he's like 95% of this.
Oh.
And he's better at storytelling than I am. So. He's not shy.
She also talked about this a week ago and then was like, oh yeah, it's tonight, eh? And so I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
He doesn't need to prep, he's not shy.
And I really thought of what I would say.
Yes.
Go ahead.
You'll
I'm
be
here.
fine. So this is our two-step method to mobile success. So step one is find a mobile home that should be condemned. That's what you want, something that is falling apart. Most people want to drag it away. You walk into it and you definitely don't take your shoes off. So this is ours. Oh, that's nice. So second, get yourself a David, because it doesn't work if you don't have someone like David. He's the
Well, it does, it just gets really expensive.
well, yeah, and then it's not worth it. Not worth it. So, and if you can't get a David, maybe a Steve or a Jeff might be okay. But
Or Christine.
or Christine, yeah, Christine is that might be better. Might have less arguments. So realistically though, then once you find your role, you sign your life away. So that is a picture of the CSA label, which you can't read the numbers or anything. It also was not recorded on the sheet, so if you know anything about mobiles, you have to have a CSA number to sell them, except if it's been abandoned. If you find a trailer that has been abandoned, it's the easiest thing in the world to buy. I literally filled out the paperwork myself, sent them $50, sent them a copy of the purchase contract, and it was mine. So it was super easy.
And they give you a new MHR number?
It's not the MHR number, it's the CSA.
Just the CSA, that's it?
No,
Okay.
I have to get a silver label inspection done, and then I can sell it in the future. But to purchase it and to live in it, I don't think you need CSA, right?
Okay.
As an abandoned mobile.
So CSA has to do with the electrical.
The electrical, because it comes like an appliance, right? Any appliance that you buy, which includes mobile homes, has a CSA sticker on it. So in order to sell it, it needs to have that valid sticker, so meaning permits were taken out.
Sorry,
Mobiles
when you
are
say
old.
abandoned, you mean that somebody owned it and used to live in it, and then they just walked away and left it?
So, this is so the whole story is that I was looking for information on mobile homes and trying to find what parks offered what, because some offer 55 plus areas, some don't allow pets, some allow one or two, or they can allow rentals. There's lots of different restrictions on mobile homes, so I was just phoning different parks trying to find out who did what. So I came across this trailer. They said, if you're a realtor, we've got this trailer, we don't know what to do with it. So I came and looked at it, and when I got there, I was like, there's no way I can put this on MLS. Like, it doesn't have a CSA, nobody's gonna buy it in the condition it's in, which you'll see in a moment. And it was just a disaster. So the thing about this is the first home I bought, I think we paid $157,000 for it. The second home I bought was like $375,000, and the third home I bought was $600,000. No, we did $400,000 first and then $600,000. Never once did I get nervous about signing those papers, paying mortgage. It wasn't a problem. I thought, whatever. But no, I spent $7,500 on this thing, and I was sweating bullets because it was like I was buying a pile of garbage. So this is my friend that I evicted with the end of my broomstick. Okay, so this is. I'm not very good at taking before and after pictures. So this is part way into it. So it was worse than this.
I was gonna say, this place is a hoarder's house, and basically, if you had a path all the way down to the bedroom, but decided to put a bunch of stuff in that path, that is like an understatement. So he pretty much had the path layer was closed, I guess, if he fell, it was a soft landing. But there was boxes from floor to ceiling all the way down to a bedroom. And it was garbage and mouse crap and pretty much anything you think of was pretty much.
Did he die in
So what happened was, there was an older man living here, by himself, and he had some medical issues, a stroke or something, and so he was taken to a facility, and at that point, he could no longer make decisions for himself, he couldn't sell the property, he couldn't take care of it, he couldn't do anything. So his family went in, took the few things that they wanted, and there was a public trustee involved, so the public trustee was in charge of all of this, and the family said, we don't want anything. Public trustee didn't wanna deal with it because it would cost money to drag it away, right, cause they couldn't do anything with it. So, they just said to the trailer park, they wrote a one-page letter saying we officially abandon it, and handed that to the trailer park.
That's how it comes down.
And so it was there for abandoned. So the trailer park had this thing sitting there that they didn't know what to do with. And it was just collecting pad rent, right? Like nobody was paying for it. So, I got really nervous on this because as you can see, like tons of work involved. But I also didn't really know much about renovating mobile homes because, they're a different beast, right? Like they're not a house where, you know, you do your electrical, your plumbing, all that kind of stuff. You go get permits from the city and you have to figure out retaining or weight bearing walls and all that kind of stuff and whatever. So with the trailer, I had no idea what I needed to do or not. With the CSA, if you even change a plug, if you change a light fixture, if you change anything electrical, you have to get a permit for it. So I thought, well, maybe there's other things that I don't know about. So that was scary, as well as, you know, the whole process of getting a silver label inspection done and all the electrical and everything. On top of it, this place had, it hadn't been winterized or anything, so it sat cold over the whole winter. It had been vacant for about a year and a half, I think, when.
3 years.
No, it wasn't that long. Anyways, it was vacant for a long time, and the pipes had ruptured, and like, there was all sorts of crazy stuff going on.
It should've just been lit on fire. Like honestly.
Yeah, it was.
Cause it would probably be better for everybody.
So, that's the kitchen there that you're looking at. So the thing with mobiles too, is that in a single wide mobile home, the exterior walls are the weight bearing walls. So you can take out anything on the inside. I discovered that while calling around trying to figure out what the heck we're gonna do with this thing.
And this was your first one?
Yeah, this was the first one.
Okay.
So we bought this
Baptism by fire.
Yeah, exactly. We bought this in June of 2019. So this is the living room from further back, so those are some of the boxes. Like,
So how did they come to the value of 7,500? Is that the
that's how
money
much
they were owed?
pad rent was owed.
Okay, that was what was owed.
Yeah. And after the fact, I probably should have negotiated that with them, but I just said, okay.
Is there some kind of clause with the park where after a certain amount of time when the pad rent isn't paid, that they take over?
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
I think that would be part of the Manufactured Home Tenancy Act.
Okay.
They can evict people. I don't know what the process is per se to get their trailer dragged off and where it would go and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
If they
yeah.
did evict someone, I don't know that they can actually take over the property unless it's abandoned,
Right.
which there's probably some kind of process to go through that as well.
Yeah.
But in these piles, all these boxes were full, and there was stamp collections, there was model trains. I brought some to show Alan, he said they weren't worth a whole lot. There was model cars, there was currency from all over the place, there, all sorts of stuff. We found an appraisal certificate that had like itemized lists of collector's items worth, I think it was about $45,000. And actually back here, I forgot to tell the story, well, David can tell the story about this cash that he found under this table.
Yeah, well, the moment like we're getting there cleaning up, of course, you can't leave all that, you gotta kinda start with a blank slate when you're renovating. But going through it, like she said, I know it's kind of a lot of mess and stuff, but there was a lot of valuables in between, and some of the garbage bags, I was just going through and putting stuff in the garbage, and the problem with hoarders houses, you don't know, you can't really get into their head and why they do things, but there was a lot of wad wadded up paper, just sitting in a pile in this garbage bag. And as I was picking through it, I noticed green in the paper, and so I was like, it kind of looks like money. And then as I started unfolding it, it just kept going. So I just
off the mobile?
not that much, but it worked out to about $520 sitting in a garbage bag
Wow.
under a table. But then even with that, I was like, as soon as that happened, I was like, ah, crap, because I knew it's going to be a long process going through all this stuff. Because
Now you can.
They have to look
yeah, there might be another $500 sitting around somewhere, maybe $1,000. But I actually did find some other stuff like down in.
Hold on, we'll get there.
Oh, okay.
Don't get ahead of us.
Anyways.
Okay, so that was the living room picture. This is just another angle. This is a lovely picture of our dead rat we found. It got trapped in a trap and there was nobody to let it out, so it was mummified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You thought he was getting free cheese.
Yeah,
Free cheese, yeah.
not so much left. Okay, so this was the bedroom at the back. A lot of stuff had been taken out at the point of this picture because there was more junk in there. But now you can tell the story about
No.
what you found.
So that dresser there, I was just kind of keeping my eyes up for things, and I actually found coins stuffed up inside the dresser, but we had it taped up the side, and actually it was a pen from 1714. And then I did a little research behind it. It's actually 1713, and it was scratched out about 14. And I guess back then they had made them towards the end of 1713, and it was just it overlapped into 14, so they started scratching them out, the 13 and putting 14, and apparently it's very rare. Like it's just you don't find them. And I talked to one guy about it, and he says it's probably worth about $5,000 right about now. And I'm going like, this is ridiculous. Like, but the problem when you're dealing with a house like that is you don't know. Like I said, it's hard to get in the mind of these people and why it was stuffed. Obviously it was hiding somewhere, but it was stuffed up, tucked inside. You don't know when you throw it.
It was like inside, you had to pull the drawer out and it was stuck in the
You
back.
literally had to
behind
lift
you,
up,
right?
and like the only reason I saw it is because I pushed the dresser over to pull it out, and there was coin taped underneath it, and it was all in a protective case and everything. So
Oh, wow.
We found the little flash drives. They had like SD cards and whatever they're called, digital recordings. So I plugged them into the computer and I'm listening to it, and he recorded every single day of his life. He woke up in the morning, he turned on his tape recorder, he put it in his pocket, and then he saved them on these little flash drives, right? So I could listen to everything he was doing. It was really boring.
And you did.
I did for a while. I was like, maybe there's something interesting. You never know, right?
The
But
secret's
no.
where the rest of the treasure is
Yeah,
there.
exactly. So that's the kind of person he was. Okay, so this was in progress when we were starting to work on stuff. So when you're working in a trailer in the wintertime, everything is inside. So this is all renovation materials and tools and all that kind of stuff. So it took us a long time to do this trailer. One, because of all the junk, right? Like, I don't know, we took like 25 trailer loads of garbage to the dump or something ridiculous. It was a lot.
yeah, that's an understanding.
Yeah, it's probably more, but
It was enough that they got to know who I was. They'd be like, "Hey, Dave," and as I was like, they wouldn't even ask. They would just go, "Are you going?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I just drive through.
so yeah, like I said, we bought it in June. I don't know, when did you start the actual reno? Like it took probably 6
October.
months. Yeah, well, it was quite a while. 4 or 6 months, somewhere in there, to just get the stuff out. And currently there's still boxes of things in our garage that we have not dealt with. So they're hiding and I'm ignoring them. So we renovated, well, I say we, it's the royal we, he did all the work. We renovated the kitchen, well, the whole place. Everything was new basically, except in the kitchen, we didn't replace the cabinets because they were wood. David rebuilt them.
Yeah.
Lots of wood glue.
I was trained as a finishing carpenter, so like for me, it was just like as long as the frames are good, you can pretty much do anything with it. So
Yeah, I don't know.
Alright, so these are the bedrooms and we were working on them. There was we had 2 bedrooms? We didn't take all out now. No, there's 2 bedrooms, and the one of them had the washer and dryer in it, so where this closet is, be the washer dryer. Washer dryer got moved to the bathroom, so we had to do some reconfiguring to make everything make more sense. Nobody wants a washer dryer in their bedroom, so that was just weird. And this room, again, was packed full with shelves and everything on the shelves, and then a pile in the middle that you couldn't even walk on. So,
So did you remove the paneling and put up gravel?
in this room, yeah.
Just that room?
Oh, well, parts of it, not even the whole thing. Anywhere that had to be changed, got
Yeah.
changed, but,
Right.
if it was fine, we just painted it.
Right.
There we go. Okay, so this is the bathroom mid-reno. The floor's already been done here, so do you wanna talk about the bathroom? Cause that was a whole ordeal itself.
It's just, okay. Does anybody have any questions or anything on why we had to do these things, or was there some? Okay. Yeah, so the bathroom, what this gentleman kinda did was that there was his water electrical got shut off, so his obviously didn't have running water. He decided that it would be better just to chop a hole in the floor and then use the washroom in the hole. So under that, so I actually have photos that Ricki doesn't have here, but I actually have photos where I actually literally gutted the entire bathroom and the floor, and we're actually standing on the ground underneath the trailer, and that was part of it, is removing all the wonderful mess what was under there, and because he was just peeing on the floor, it rotted out the entire floor, so I had to take out the entire floor. So, and then after that, it was just a matter of rebuilding and bringing it back to where it was again.
But not really, because of the bathtub.
Yeah, I was getting to that. But anyways, but the one thing about trailers that they don't tell you is when you're buying old trailers, is that 54 inch is the standard back in the 70s and 80s. The standard now is 60 inch. If you
For
want,
bathtub.
and if you want a 54, you can get one. It's a specialty order. They'll make it for you. It costs about $1,200. So you're literally buying the $150 tub from Home Depot, but they'll make you one and charge you $1,200 for it. So you can get us at 54 inch, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of waiting. It's easier just to remodel the bathroom, push the walls out, and do what you got to do. Like, instead of trying to like, hey, let's see if we can find one. Trust me, I tried high and low, and I talked to a bunch of companies. They're like, yeah, we can get you one, and then they're just like, yeah, it's gonna be like $1,200 to $1,500. I'm like, no.
So instead, we had to replace the hot water tank anyways.
Yeah.
So he moved the hot water tank, which was behind where the shower is. It was back in there.
Space.
So he moved it more into the closet
Framed it out.
to expand the bathroom, right? So not an easy process, took a lot of time. And then, yeah, redid everything else in that room and put the washer dryer in there.
So you're saying, and that looks fantastic by the way, but, so you're saying this quarter was not paying his bills in terms of water?
Yeah, the place was falling
Well,
apart.
what I mean by water, the park pays for the water.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is that because he didn't pay for electrical, the heat was shut off.
Yeah.
And because of the heat, then he froze up all the lines and burst all the lines all
Oh,
throughout.
I
the
see,
place.
so when he
So
was
he
in there,
didn't
he wasn't
shut
paying
off.
for electricity,
No, so,
even though he had these coins and money.
yeah, he just, yeah.
And then decided to start opening the floor as a way
Yes.
to use the bathroom.
No.
You know, this is the
He
classic
also
quarter
recorded
thing.
every day of his life, so that's the kind of person we're dealing with. There weren't things clicking in there.
Wow.
I was gonna ask a question, but it's just actually being nosy about a personal, like, where's the family, but this has nothing to do with your project.
The problem is
so
that
okay.
I actually, and the funny part is because of my other tray I have, which is millwright, our trays actually cross, because I got enough information from the place that I was a heavy duty mechanic, I knew where he worked. I actually worked with some of the guys who work with him, and I actually found out he's an incredibly nice guy. He's very well known in Kamloops, but no one would actually know that this was like this is how his home life was. And so that's the hard part, is like, you could be around people you know every day and you never know that this is
You're
how they live.
functioning out there.
Yeah.
That's why I never invite you all over my house.
But yeah, like if you looked at some of the stuff he had,
I can
I
help you there.
constantly, like if you
You
look
don't like
at,
my bathroom?
like some of the stuff he had, you constantly were looking through, I was finding Mac tools, Snap-on tools, I was finding all sorts of stuff. That was, his trade was heavy duty mechanic, so all that was scattered amongst the rubble, so.
Lots of stuff did get sold on
Yeah, we
Facebook
did.
Marketplace too. So this is the kitchen, rebuilt. That's the original dishwasher, actually.
No, it's not.
Oh, sorry, never mind. So yeah, cleaned up and looks much nicer than what it did.
It's pristine.
Yes, this is the living room. So it just got painted. This corner here where the brick is it had a platform thing where there used to be a stove.
There used to be a wood stove there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why the brick is there, and so I just.
But I was gonna pull the brick down, but then I was talking to some interior decorator, she's like, actually, they use this as a concept, like, I forget, it was like a theme wall, so I was like, whatever. So I painted it and left it and said, if I don't like it, down the road, we'll just rip it out.
Yeah, so new flooring, new windows, new everything.
Yeah.
These are the bedrooms. So, same thing.
I like these sparklers.
Yeah, it's good.
We can attribute those to Katie. Alright, and that's the bedroom again.
And you might be wondering why I did curtains on the closets. For all of those who've dealt with tenants before, the number one thing we deal with most of our rental properties is I get called for is they broke the closet doors. And I literally was so sick of fixing closet doors, I was like, you know what? I was at another place in town doing rentals for a person and they had this concept going, so I was like, I'm gonna try it and see if I don't have to fix curtains now. So, so far I've had to fix the curtains, so
I've been doing,
it's amazing what they've done.
I've been doing sliding, slab doors.
Yeah.
And that's been working really good
Yeah.
for me, but
Lots of people just take the doors right off.
I have lots of apartments where they're off, and then there's all these stupid closet doors in my storage room.
So here's the bathroom.
That's really good.
Okay. Okay, so income, currently we had $1,500 a month, although he just told me he's looking for another place because he needs more space, so we might get a raise here soon.
Nice.
Yeah, it's always good. So this is our total investment. This is the first time I actually added it up. Cause I kinda just ignored everything and pretended I knew the numbers before. So the purchase price of $7,400, overdue taxes, which you have to pay the taxes before you could register the mobile, so I paid that. Pad rent times 18 months, because that's how long it took us to finish this place where it sat empty.
Right.
We weren't overly motivated just because it was quite overwhelming, and so it took a long time. So it cost us $9,100. If we had done it in 6 months, which, you know, if you hit it hard, you could have done, if you didn't go through every little scrap of garbage in there. So it
But
would
you're
have
working another job.
I
This is
have
on
a
sale.
rental
Yeah, this
company.
is
Yeah.
Like I have a rental company, so between
So he was
doing
doing
for
like
working
basement
for other
rentals and
people, I
other
was
stuff. in the
every other
meantime.
moment I was there.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
So renos, that's including new hot water tank, new furnace,
But that's materials only.
materials
Not labor.
only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, yeah, you couldn't do it if you had to pay for it.
Well, that's what I was saying, if you had to hire contractors, stuff like that, definitely the price would be a lot.
Yeah, for sure. The insurance that we paid while it was vacant, cause I am not recouping that. Utilities we paid while it was vacant. So we paid 58,000, it could have been 51, so just for an idea of what you could have done on this. Okay, monthly expenses, so my pad rent, insurance, city utilities, cause it's 48.50 every 6 months for the city utilities, we don't pay for water, the park pays for that. And property taxes on this one are $187 a year. So it's roughly 50 a month. So my monthly costs are $583. So my ROI came out to 19% per year on the 58,000. And if it was 51,000, it would have been 21%. So I just put those numbers in there. So, yeah.
And how much do you feel the value of the mobile is now?
160-ish.
Okay, but that would be a
Wow.
factor,
Yes.
that would be a factor in your ROI as well.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I don't intend to sell it,
Right.
so I'm just looking at the
Yeah.
income numbers.
This is your cash on cash and your return on investment are the same.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
That's very good, yeah.
Um,
Sorry, did you say 160?
Yes, so, and then cap is the same.
And you might get a nice little bump up here shortly.
Yeah, if he rents out, or moves out.
What do you think the market rent is now?
Well, so this is number 10, so we bought the neighboring one. Kinda did the same thing, but not as many renos and paid more for it, so, I'll show the numbers for that, but we currently get $1,700 a month for that one. And so probably the first one we'd get, well, probably 18, 19 maybe, somewhere in there.
Okay, good.
It's got a nice little private yard, shed, 2 bedrooms, so. So number 10, we're making $1,700 a month. We bought it for 25, pad rent, wait. Oh, take out the 18 months.
This is pad rent
I
for-
copied the other one and this is,
Oh, yeah.
so that's not accurate. That's the pad rent for 3 months that it was vacant. Renos, we put in 10,000. Insurance, over those 3 months was 270, utilities 300. So we are into it for almost 37,000. So then my monthly costs are pretty much the same. Insurance is slightly different on that one, and property taxes are slightly different, so $589 a month.
Cash flow 11.
So my ROI on this one is 36% per year.
And you're not financing these?
No, I
No.
pay for them
I
cash.
don't think you could.
So that's, yeah.
Probably not. I just wanted to make sure in terms of the return.
So that's just because the rent is significantly higher? The return
It's
is
too,
better.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and because the initial
prices are
cost
low.
was less,
Yeah.
right? I paid 36,000 for this one versus 58 for the other one. So,
So using the rule of 7, and if you're getting a 20% return on your investment in the original number 10 deal, right? You're doubling your money just under every 3 years, right?
This deal, she's doubling it every 2 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can see the power of these small deals, right? It's unbelievable.
It's crazy, yeah.
Right now, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, I understand.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but the payout is definitely
the
not.
payout is super high, and you've got these cash generators building down payments for you at an enormous rate.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Oh.
really is a really,
Can't sell.
it's a real wealth hacker kind
Can't
of
sell.
methodology here to make money. It's really good.
I was gonna say, you're doubling your money every 2 years on this deal, not including market appreciation.
Yes.
So and then every dollar you make above that 36 grand of your cost is just extra frickin' gravy, right?
yeah.
It's a crazy wealth hack. That kind of return on investment in real estate is unheard of.
Maybe I should use my 88G to snap up the ladies.
Yeah, you have to do all the work though, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
Do you have a David?
Yeah, but it's like, the other thing I was gonna say is just, even if you don't have a David, if you know how to talk to tradespeople, if you know how to deal with them, you can get deals, you can talk to trades guys. Like, to me, I didn't have to do everything. Like, I know enough guys, I know electricians, plumbers, everything. I could have talked to a bunch of buddies of mine. I could have got killer prices. A lot of it is just networking. Like, if
Yes.
you know who to go through, or you have some friends, or even some family, like, you can cut your costs pretty significantly. But the biggest thing is like Ricki keeps referring to me as like the joke, but like, yeah, like I actually used to run tradespeople, like it was a job for me, like I was a superintendent. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people you can use, and a lot of times, like you look, there's that one thing is there's that one Facebook group that saw this job post space for
Cash jobs.
yeah, cash jobs. There's a lot of guys who just work for regular people, like have regular jobs, but are skilled. And so and I'm not saying you would take advantage of them, but they don't know how to price themselves. And so, yeah, I like, I know a drywaller who would literally come and drywall that whole place for like $500. And I'm going, but that's because he doesn't know how to price himself. And actually, and then when I use guys like that, then I always kind of go, I'm going to give you a little more because you're kind of undervaluing yourself. I mean, I don't have to, but that is something you can look outside your realm rather than saying, hey, I got to hire that contract company. There's a lot of people who want to do like a side job. We're very skilled. And so that is another
But
aspect.
the other
of
thing
looking
too is
into
that
it.
trailers have a stigma, right? People expect trailers to be kind of trashy. So they're also a good place to practice your renovation skills. Like, if you wanna learn how to do stuff, why not do it on trailer, right? Like, nobody will hold it against you.
Oh, you know, one thing, I wouldn't have touched that bathroom.
See, I used to work on human waste pumps, so that was actually pretty nice to me. That much before, so.
Okay, so I found this one out, I'm trying to get, more equity out of my house. My trailers don't have a PID because they don't own the land, so they don't count against me, so if I'm going to get, more residential mortgages, they don't look at how many trailers I own. So, that's a.
Cause they're chattels or not, you don't own
Yes.
real
So-
property.
I own
But
my
mind
house
you-
and I own a fourplex, and so I can still keep.
But if there was no
Financing.
mortgage, wouldn't
Yeah,
that
and
not be a problem anyway?
You just show them
If they
all
were
the cash flow.
financed, why would that count against you?
They also wanted to see, what was it called? They wanted proof of, proof that they were paid off, which I don't know how to do that yet.
Which probably
Oh, yeah.
can't
Something I have to
cash
figure
flow
out.
either, then.
PC online, you can pull
Get
the,
a personal
BC online,
property.
mobile home registry search would show no mortgage.
No, the mobile home registry search doesn't tell you that there's a mortgage or not on it.
It wouldn't. Then
No,
how
it
they
just tells
register
you
the
who
job?
owns
There's no
it.
such thing as a mortgage on a mobile home.
No, there is.
There is, you can get a mortgage on a
What's a
mobile
chattel
home.
mortgage?
Chattel mortgage,
Yeah,
where is the chattel
But
mortgage
it doesn't,
registered?
On the
exactly.
mobile home registry.
Cause I've never pulled one that showed anything about anything, like anything that you would see on title typically, you don't have that in a mobile home registry, you have, it shows you who owns it, it shows you the details of the trailer, like the serial number, the CSA number, the mobile home registry number, that kind of stuff, but it's never shown me any charges on it, or liens or anything, so I'm wondering if it's on the personal property registry, whatever that thing is.
Like LTSA, land title.
No, it's under
Like
BC
personal
Online.
property. Cause if there's chattel mortgages, we know this to be true,
Mhm.
so there must be some central registry of
Exactly, but I
chattel
can't, I
mortgages.
don't know where it
See,
is.
that
Which
Ramir's not gonna
which
do.
lawyer do you use?
Natalie Hager.
Just get her to pull
Yeah.
whatever it is.
No, ask her how you find if a mortgage is on a chattel mortgage or not. and she'll
I
tell
will,
you.
I'm in the process of trying to get more equity right now, so.
And you have how many doors now? 11?
7.
7?
3, trailers and a fourplex?
2 trailers, 4plex, and my basement suite.
Oh, nice.
Will they count your revenue though?
Yes.
Oh, they will,
Count my
okay, so
revenue.
the fact that you can't prove that there's no mortgage isn't,
What
doesn't
if-
mean that you can't count the revenue,
Right.
cause
You-
it shows up, I guess.
Yeah, well, I've got documents, right, and I've got.
Yeah, cause on your
Taxes.
statement of rental activities,
Yeah.
you just show like I'm not writing off any interest, that'd be stupid for me to not write it
Well,
off.
that makes sense to you and I, but
Yeah.
does that make sense to the lender? Will they
Yeah, I don't really-
extrapolate? So I don't know, I
don't
gotta
know.
figure it
No,
out.
I mean,
that's-
all of this on her-
Both parts, so I don't know.
All this on a mortgage application is just extra income. That's all it is.
So, you also can't get a mortgage on a trailer that is a rental. That is something that they won't do either.
The CIBC's rule?
It has to be registered and, no, you can go,
Oh.
bye.
Yeah.
He's gotta go to another meeting. So, in order to get a mortgage on a trailer, you need to have it insured by CMHC.
That's right. you can only check
CMHC won't insure a rental trailer.
So, this is diabolical.
Yeah.
Like, are you realizing just how you've niched yourself into a very difficult field?
That's
right?
why I'm not afraid of telling you all this information.
Exactly, you've niched yourself in a very difficult field where the bar for competitors is very high, right? And yet, at the same time, you're not gonna have a lot of rental mobiles to compete against because it's such a difficult field to get into. And, the return, the ROI is so high that you're just generating more and more down payments for similar type situations. So it's diabolical, it's really good.
When you buy a mobile, say you have less than 20% down, well, you have to have CMHC on it. So therefore you have to be by owner occupied. And that's kind of the government screwed that up. Because before, you could have you could refinance your mobile and then they would have bulk CMHC insurance on it. So it's like, oh yeah, you have 20% equity. and the bank doesn't need CMHC, but they say, well, we're gonna put CMHC on there anyways, just for extra security.
Yeah.
But the government said, no, you can't do that anymore. So now when you try to refinance your mobile, your only option is to get a private money loan, which is gonna start at 10 to 12%, right?
So you could maybe
can't
buy
finance
them and
it.
move into them and
Yeah.
then renovate them.
Yeah, you could move
Then
and
rent
do
them and
everything.
move out if you
Lots of
wanted to
builders do
live
that.
there.
Yeah, building houses.
And then would you?
But look at what you're buying. You're buying a trailer that should be condemned, right?
Well, yeah, so the problem is.
Maybe not, maybe
Might be
sorry.
hard to figure away.
Yeah.
And then would you get the principal residency exemption as well? Because you're principal residence on taxes?
Well, if you live there, why not?
I think
I
you-
don't know, I'm not an accountant.
Capital gains your principal residence.
You could answer better.
I'm not.
I know.
Yeah.
But yes,
You're
you
closer
can,
to an.
yes, you
than
can
I
get the
am.
exemption on your capital gains, so if you bought it for 7,500, now it's worth 160, and you live there for the whole time, you pay nothing on that capital gains.
Either way, you didn't, so.
Yeah.
But-
But also I think you save your transfer tax exemption too, because you're technically not on title of real property either.
There is no property tax.
There's
Yeah.
no transfer tax. on
Exactly.
Yeah, because there's no land.
Yeah, there's no land.
So it's like an investing trifecta.
This is like a freaking pyramid scheme.
It's better than a pyramid.
It's kinda like that Tom Sully was doing.
No, it's a great wealth hack.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic wealth hack. I mean, I thought it'd be interesting, but it's way more interesting than I thought it would be.
And if you can, yeah, if you can get more units inside, because your cash flow will stack, and then eventually you show up to that freaking, I don't know if mobile home people get to vote on stuff. Like on status? Oh, you don't.
You get nothing.
Okay, yeah,
No, you have to buy yourself a mobile home park.
So
exactly.
you get the whole part.
So is your plan then to, because it sounds like you're taking some of the profits from the mobile homes and then moving into other, types of properties. But are you planning on continuing with this and then do you have a line, like, are you familiar now enough with most of the home parks that they will let you know if something's been abandoned?
I have a few that will let me
Or are you
know.
actually going out
Yeah.
online?
So, the park that I'm in, she calls me as soon as she knows that one is available. I almost got the other one on the other side, except that they sold it privately before I got it, so. Missed that one out. It would have been a good one, just like the first one I showed you.
Just like 35Gs, that type thing, eh?
Mhm.
Wow.
So yeah, so when I bought the second one, the guy who had lived there was terminally ill with cancer, and he had lived far longer than he expected, and his family and whatnot. So his sister was helping take care of him and stuff, and he had caregivers coming into the home, but he was tired. So he had a medically assisted death, and she knew this was coming, and she was on title and wanted to get rid of the trailer because she lived in Summerland, she didn't want to drive back and forth, didn't want to deal with it. So at the time I told her, like, she saw David doing the work, so she talked to him and said, maybe you can do some renos before I sell it, or, and then he said, well, talk to my wife, she's a realtor, she can tell you about selling it. So we both went over and talked to her, and, on one hand, could have done the renos, but like at one point she came over to David in an emergency because there were sparks flying out of the toaster plug. So like it needed a complete electrical overhaul. And then because he was so debilitated, he had a mobile scooter wheelchair, and he was scraping up the walls. So down the hallways there was big chunks of wall missing. The door frame, he had just like, I don't know, somebody took a chainsaw to it or something and cut out the shape of his wheelchair so that he could roll into the bathroom, right? So there was like huge deficiencies on it, and David said it probably would have cost him, you know, the electrical probably would have been at least 10 grand, and then anything done just to bring it up to be able to sell it, she was looking at like minimum 15 to 20,000 of work. She didn't want to put any money into it. So I said, probably you could sell it after you do that stuff for around 50 or 60,000. I'll give you 25. So she said, hand it over, I'll take it. And so it was just lucky that we were there. So how to find a trash trailer? So you're making the right connections, be in the right place at the right time, and be ready with your cash. So, like I said, I was phoning around trailer parks, so I got my parents a couple trailers that they rent out for pretty reasonable deals. Not as good as this, but they were in a little bit better condition. condition too. And also with someone who sees himself as a shrewd negotiator, not people who were distressed and just wanted to get rid of them, right? So, even at that, like, one they picked up for 90,000 and they rent it for, 1,700, right? And then the other one was
180.
180?
They get
170.
24.
Oh, yeah, and then you rent that one for 24. So there's still good deals, but,
Yeah, and this is for 24.
so yeah, that's basically it. I don't know, any other questions, any other things you want to know?
I imagine you'd wanna keep an eye on Kijiji and Marketplace for people who are trying to sell junky mobiles, right?
Yeah,
their
most of those
families.
want to have them dragged away though.
Really?
There's a lot on private land that they want it gone.
They're not parks.
So, and if you wanna move a trailer, you're looking at like 20,000 to do that. I haven't done that yet, I've kind of thought about it, but finding a spot to put it on, cause if there's empty spots in trailer parks, usually they want a new trailer in there, they don't want you to bring an old piece of junk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did find a spot where I could put anything on it, except that it was only 20 by 40, so it was really small. And my brother actually ended up buying the one next to that, and now there's a guy living in that spot that he bought a $200,000 fifth wheel.
Yeah, it's not winterized either.
That's not winterized.
Yeah, he had to
He's having
move
some
out. It was a
problems.
little cold this winter.
Yeah, but anyway, so he's parked in there, he's living in a travel trailer.
You probably wrecked it.
So yeah, but like if you look, there's some places that have vacant spots, but like G&M, they want like $15,000 for you to move a trailer
Bring
in
a trailer
there.
and it costs 200,000 for the trailer, right?
Yeah, yeah, so it doesn't really make sense. And then the other aspect is there are very few trailer parks that allow rentals, right? There's
Okay.
about 4 or 5 right now.
War limits.
There was another one and we had an offer on it, and in the middle of the offer, the park manager decided they weren't gonna rent in there, or weren't gonna allow rentals in there anymore, which screwed over the previous owners who had been using it as a rental, or were going to continue renting it if they didn't sell. So now it's still for sale, I think, and this has been several months.
It's a mobile?
And,
So,
were you planning on buying a mobile home park or looking into one?
I will have them looking into one, but I'm working on the cash part first. I like to do things myself, I don't like to get money partners, which is a problem.
Actually, opposite.
you're trying to raise your own funds, so
I
you
do.
can.
So if you did that, would you take advantage of some of these ones that you're finding out on, say, rural properties that
Yes.
people want to move and then?
I would, if I had my own park, I'd be loading it up with all the rentals that I
Oh,
own
yeah, you had
myself.
some.
Except, I think the direction to go would be tiny homes. Cause you could, in my head, potentially you could put 2 tiny homes on one lot.
Yeah.
And they could start out a bit nicer, and you're probably renting them for pretty close to the same because they're gonna be nicer.
Yeah.
So,
trendy.
They're
And
very
they're trendy.
expensive though.
well, yeah, they're
They're not
pricey,
cheap.
but you can get some out there for like 100,000, depending on, and like even if we just got the shell, could finish the insides ourselves, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so that's mobile homes.
Good.